So let's step into that demo number 5. So to create a new Power Automate flow, you just go to the Create button. From here, you have the options to create a new flow from scratch or to start from a template. Microsoft has increased the level of technical complexity of the tool in the past few years. But if you start with a template and just change the part that applies to you, even if you don't consider yourself to be super technical, you'll be creating new flows in no time. For the sake of this class, we're going to start from scratch. So in the start from a blank section, we're going to select automated cloud flow. On the build an automated cloud flow page, we're going to give our flow a name. We're going to be really creative. We're going to call it demo 4/3/12/24. And then we're going to search for the trigger we want to use. We're going to say Outlook. And a trigger is the type of action you want to cause or to trigger your automated action. So when you're building rules in Outlook, you have two triggers. You have apply a rule on messages I receive or apply a rule on messages I send. So we have a lot more options here, but we're going to stick with when a new message arrives. So we're going to pick that one and click create. When you're more comfortable with Power Automate, you may want to skip that screen, and then there's a button there called skip, and you can do that. When the Power Automate flow canvas appears, you will be able to add details or conditions to your trigger. It looks a little different than when you're in Outlook and you're creating rules, but it's very similar. We're going to jump over to the flow that we've already created. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the details of this particular flow to see how it works. So we can see here, we're going to expand advanced options. And so we're looking for emails sent to our Outlook account from our Gmail account with the words action in the subject line. So we're kind of combining our tip number 4 with our tip number 5. Next, we're going to tell Power Automate what action we wanted to take when this email arrives. So we could manually do it just like we did before and add an action. And since we're going to use to do, we would just search for to do, find it, and find the action that we want. But we already have ours here, so we're going to look at what we've already pre-populated. This is where we're going to have the true power of this automation. We can take elements from the email that we just identified in this first step, and we're going to build our action and to do. And then we also can perform calculations. So let's say that we know this is an email we get all the time. Our boss every Monday sends us an email that's due 10 days later. So we can go in and we can perform math or a calculation on it. So in this example, we automatically take that email and we add 7 days. Let me scroll over a little bit so you can see it. We add 7 days to the date of the email for the due date. And let's say we want to give ourselves a reminder, of course, because we didn't see the actual email. So this one may be a little different. So we add a tickle to it so that we'll see it 3 days later. So that's what that one is. Then we can add a note to ourselves to let us know that we created this new task using Power Automate because it's going to be added automatically. And then we can take another step of filing that message as it comes into our inbox. So it's dealt with and we don't have to worry about it anymore. So we take that original message and we put it into the folder filed emails. And if you notice, these are basically the same steps that we took with our Outlook quick steps. But the difference is after our initial setup, we don't have to touch the message again. So let's quickly run a test to make sure that it works. So I'll go over to my account and I will be extremely creative and I'll call it action demo number 2 and today's date. So we know that it's live and I'm going to send it and we can go over to our Outlook mailbox and we should see it when it drops in temporarily, but then we'll see it moved and then we can move over to our to-do list to see where that's been added. So we see it just dropped in and let's hold our breaths. 1, 2, 3. And it's gone. So let's check our to-do list to make sure that it was added. And there it is, demo number 2 with today's date. So it worked. If you have an agenda mail or you're using Outlook today, your new task is going to show up just like any other task.